Hey, what's up, everybody? We had the pleasure to talk with Mike Exeter, producer from bands like Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Heaven and Hell, Cradle of Filth, and many others. We had the chance to interview him in Huart Studio, Spitfire Audio, and ask him some questions about his inspiration, tips and tricks for new engineers, and more.
Cradle of Filth.
Cradle of Filth.
Cradle of Filth, yeah.
Yes, I didn't know. I was a big fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Amazing.
Yeah. A long time ago.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
A pleasure. Nice to be here.
Nice to meet you, man. I got one question.
Okay.
Which music production advice changed your life?
Ooh. That's an easy one.
That's an easy one.
No, actually, it's not. Well, there's one. There's one which is a friend of Warren's and mine. His one big piece was "Let's not turn fun into tears." So it's all about having fun, but taking care of the shit as well. So you almost have to wear two hats. You've got to be the engineer. And even if you're a producer that isn't an engineer, you have to make sure you've got someone who really has their shit down. But in my case, I engineer, so make sure everything is covered. So when you get the artist in the room, it's just fun. We're here to make music. It's a creative process. We're meant to enjoy it. I always want laughter in my sessions. That's mostly it. Just have fun doing it, but make sure you've got your shit together.
I love this. So get all the technical difficulties out of the way, maybe be one day earlier in the studio, prepare everything. And
do pre-production. Make sure I never ever go cold into a session. I always have met with the bands or I've spoken to them a lot. I did a record in New Zealand. I was 6 months. I was talking to the band and their manager before I went out there. I knew them all. And the moment we got into the studio, it was great, you know. Out came the fart chart, you know, all this stuff. It was, just have your shit down, but have fun doing it.
That's amazing. I love this.
It's really easy. That's all there is to music production.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
Everybody search for the compressor or the right EQ, but...
Well, if you get people performing, then they take care of a lot of that, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's actually what I learned on my mobile recording journeys, that we're just there having a good time, and it's not just capturing the sound, but the vibe.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it's not about screens. I love this. I love the fact that Warren's, again, is the same. He's got the computer screen off to one side. You sit, your speakers are in front of you. You can shut your eyes and connect with faders. That's what you're meant to be doing. You're meant to be listening and letting that music do this. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing this. Then I would have a second question.
Yeah.
What would be your number one advice for new engineers?
Probably don't be in too much of a hurry to get further in your career. Absorb everything. Learn as much as you possibly can. Definitely listen to what experienced people are telling you. Warren's channel is brilliant because there's not just technical stuff. There's these kinds of interviews. There's studio tours. Absorb the environment. Make it your natural place to be, so you're not intimidated by it. Practice. If you're going to be a guitarist, you practice. If you're going to be an engineer, learn how it all works. And when you're listening to other people's work, be honest with yourself if it's not as good. If you're going to compare yourself, be honest and go, I've got a long way to go. But it isn't a race. You know, I've been doing this 32 years now. So it takes time, and I'm learning every time I do something. I love sitting and watching people doing things, thinking, that's really cool. I wouldn't have thought of that. So yeah, don't be in a hurry, but be just really, really enjoy it and be passionate about it.
I love this one. I had a third question.
Yeah, go for it. Go for the oracle of...
The oracle.
The oracle.
Actually, I got two.
Now you're pushing.
Now I'm pushing it. Really. Are you still working with a lot of analog gear, or are you completely in the box?
I always track with consoles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I call it guerrilla recording when you like with what you do. You take a rig around. I sometimes do that, but I prefer to be in a studio with a console because this is where you can combine stuff. It's a great routing thing. It's a sonic thing. It pulls the sound together for me. So I'm always recording. I make the decision as I go to tape or to the converters. So I'm always working with EQs and compression and 4, 5, 6 units, which are like a tape thing. I do that. Once I'm in mixing, in the box completely. But I work with Avid S1s and a dock. So I'm again connected to the faders because I feel, and my computer's always off to one side, so I can go for an hour or more on a Pro Tools mix without looking at the screen because it's all faders, everything's automation. So yeah, so a combination, but I don't mix hybrid at all. It's all in the box.
So it's easier to recall the mixes when you have to make some changes.
Yeah, we have to be able to do that because a lot of bands nowadays haven't got budgets. Many bands have got jobs, so they can only work certain times. We have to kind of work in little phases, and they can't get back to you straight away. And for me, if I had to sit with a mix-up on a desk for 4 or 5 days, I wouldn't be able to live.
Yeah,
you know.
true.
So I love analog consoles for mixing. I grew up with them, but it just doesn't make any sense for me anymore. It's a real shame, but you know, controllers are good.
One more would be regarding heavy guitar sounds.
Okay.
Do you split amplifiers? Do you use pedals?
Everything.
Everything goes.
So the heaviness can be a couple of things. The heaviness can be the space in the arrangement, because in everything there's yin and yang. So for heavy to occur, there has to be light. So it's that yin and the yang of what makes that heavy. The approach of the playing, obviously, you know, chugging and muting, that can really give you that. Heavy can be the ferocity of the riff. And the actual tuning as well. The tuning, it can get down into bass territory sometimes. But again, that then becomes this thing of like choosing the sound for the tuning. So if you're tuned down, I work with a band from Chile who were tuned down E below E on an 8-string, and they were referenced to 432 instead of 440. So this was really low. And the big problem there was actually getting the tuning to stay because the guitar wouldn't intonate properly. I ended up having to use a Variax, a Line 6 Variax, and getting that an octave down for some of the parts. But again, that was heavy, but then we had to bring the bass into a certain point. So the bass sound had to change because the guitar was doing its thing. So again, it's just however it works. It might need less gain because it's low. It might need more or less compression. We work with pedals, amps, whatever it takes, you know. And sometimes if it's something like, in this case, the guitarist really wanted a lot of gain, he was on a Kemper, and I've been reamping as part of the mix. So, but he played what he felt it needed, but it was just too much for the actual mix. So it's again getting the performance with the right sound, but there's no real rules. You know, I think when it gets really heavy and tight, I don't tend to use any room mics.
Oh yeah.
But there are times where it's just nice to have a bit of that. So yeah, it's different. I rely very heavily on the guitarist to tell me what they like, what's making them feel enthusiastic. So it's not like there are no rules, but there really aren't. You know, there's certain things you go, I'm not going to blow the preamp, and I know if that microphone's not doing the right job, I can maybe do this, but generally comes from the player. Yeah, it always does. This, as I say, this is about listening and going, what's coming out the speakers? Have I captured it?
More this, more that. And sometimes I can imagine also the session inspires you to go another direction.
Yeah, Yeah, and there's a psychological thing with a player as well. If you're finding it difficult to convey, or they're finding it difficult to convey what is not happening, you just go, did that make it better or did it make it worse? And they may say, it's not really that. And you go, okay, what about this? And they go, that's way better. And so you're letting them tell you by sound where you need to go with it. And then you learn this language with that particular person, because it's really hard to describe sound. So
it is. You know what? I love your approach, because it's all about the communication with the artist. And,
totally.
I really like to hear this, because I see in many YouTube channels, it's like, I have to do this on the guitar and I have to do that on the guitar. But it's like cutting out the artist actually, and taking over the position that we are making the sound. But it is the artist.
It comes from them. I said to Warren, I always bring the guitarist into the room. If we're choosing speakers on a cab, they have to be part of that. It's involving them in the process, because it's their name on the record.
Yeah.
You know, I may be on the back, but I'm not going to be on the front. So, yeah, it's very important. You have to just understand that it's their project, and respect it, and have fun.
Follow your dreams. Don't
Make
forget
them
to
laugh.
have fun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make them laugh.
I love this.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure. Well, good luck with your stuff.
Thank you so
great.
much.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we are continuing on the road. Like the whole year is booked.
Awesome.
And, yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I bet. It was nice to be out traveling, isn't it?
It is.
Fuck.
It is. Actually, I chose to do it because I knew when I start the studio now, I will be 5 years in the basement.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I like the sun very much.
Yeah.
So we started with this, and
that's brilliant.
yeah, it took a while, but now it
You're
works
doing it.
with help from all the people. Warren helped us a lot.
Oh, that's
and,
cool.
oh, yeah, really grateful.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm really glad I got to meet everybody, because it's this is a highlight of this trip. You know, we came out here with very few expectations. We're just like, we're going to go and see some people. You know, it's great, brilliant. Amazing. Well, thank you.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your stay.
Pleasure, man. Thank you. See you later. Well, I'll see you in a second.
Yeah, see you in a second then.